Hello world, Anonymous here. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's your everyday run of the mill wannabe white hatter. I recently applied to 1,000 jobs. This is my story. I want to let you guys know. A little bit about myself, background. I have a bachelor's in cybersecurity and about 1.5 years of help desk, managed service provider environment type of job. So I did have some background, but I went through the ups and downs of applying for jobs, and I gotta say, I was extremely discouraged about the whole process. And I just kind of wanted to go through what I did, what I learned, and the final results. So if you want to keep on watching, let's go through it. This is my resume here, and nothing special, nothing crazy. It's 1 page long. I had 3 experiences listed. All 3 of them I made sure were somewhat tech related. I listed a ton of skills. Probably shouldn't have listed quite as many as I did. No awards, 2 languages, and I had a couple projects down that I did. One of them was through YouTube. It was a SEAM project I thought would help. And as far as proof of what I did, you can see here in my emails, this is the best way I could go about looking them up. Indeed Apply, there's 400. That was my primary application platform. I did go through ZipRecruiter as well. Pretty close number there, 317. I went through Monster, 130 there. Career Builder as well, 240. And then also LinkedIn. I Google searched some jobs. Those were a lot harder to apply to, I gotta say. It took anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour sometimes to apply to those jobs. So I kind of focused on these 4 here. As far as what I did, I would go to Indeed. I would look up security analyst, IT help desk, anything in between. So a cybersecurity analyst, security engineer. I would go through the apply now. There's quick applies on ZipRecruiter. You could do 1 clicks, but for these, click through and then answer these questions. I would kind of also bump up the numbers here to give me a better shot at going to the next step. But I applied to anything and everything. So I did not even look at what the requirements were. So I was just spraying and praying. And that's kind of what I did. As far as the results go, I applied to 1,000 jobs here, all on these platforms. And then these were the roles that I was applying to primarily. And specifically, these are the ones that I heard back from as well. So you can see tech analyst, security analyst, senior security analyst, network security engineer, IT support specialist, everything and anything in between. And as far as the results go, drum roll, there you go. So I had a whopping 6 first time interviews, and these were primarily done with recruiters. So none of it was tech at all. It was just, hey, are you a human? Yes, you are a human, and you have a little bit of experience. Great. And honestly, they would pass on their info, and I was almost felt like I was guaranteed a second interview, but lo and behold, I was not. And a few surprising things that I encountered was I did, in fact, get a second interview with a senior security analyst role. And that's not an entry level position. But for some reason, all the experience that I had posted allowed me to match enough and for the recruiters to think that I stood a chance. And I did not get past this and get an offer. I thought it was interesting that they even gave me the attention, but just something to keep in mind when you're applying to these jobs is that you never know what is going to go through. So, I mean, spraying and praying may not be the necessarily best way to do things, but you are going to get some surprising responses back. And then as far as the final interviews, there was 2 that I had third interviews. I ended up getting an offer from the security analyst position, which I accepted. And the application support specialist was a job that paid, I want to say, almost twice as much. And I ended up canceling on the third interview, even though I was ranked, because they gave you a ranked system. It was a really weird interview process where they had you answer questions, and then in the interview itself, they had you answer questions to a panel of 4 people, and they graded you. And at the end of the grading process, they let you know where you stood, and I was number 1. So I was pleasantly surprised by that, given how much that job paid. But I ended up saying no to that opportunity going into the third interview just because it had nothing to do really with security analysts and all that. So I'm currently in the security analyst role. I'm loving it, going through a lot of log work, and that's kind of the top level view. There's a lot more I could go into, but I just wanted to share my experience because it's not as easy as you think it is. Even if you're spraying and praying and people would say that's a terrible way of going about it, I would have expected quite a few more first interviews. I did get responses from these, so it ended up being about 15 responses. But first time interviews, 6 out of 1,000. I gotta say, guys, that ain't great. So leave some questions down at the bottom if you have any. Subscribe if you want to see any more of my upcoming videos. And yeah, thanks for watching.